So starting the test drive in this Elantra SEL, even though it has a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, it still gets up relatively well. Now I much prefer the 1.6-liter turbo with the dual clutch transmission, just because I think that's more fun to drive, but this is probably more practical, and for most people it's more than enough power. And then in sport mode here, just pretty peppy. Having a continuously variable transmission, or an intelligent variable transmission, excuse me, it allows you to just shift faster because you're not necessarily shifting, right? So you can drive pretty quickly in terms of just getting up to speed because you're not having to worry about the shift points. But it also allows you to be more fuel efficient as well, because the transmission's always just trying to keep you in where you're trying to be, if that makes sense. Now this powertrain is a carryover from the 23 models, but the sound system I found pretty impressive. Now I don't know if it was just me, maybe just the settings hadn't been touched, but for a stock sound system, it sounds pretty good. And of course, everything else pretty much is the same interior wise. We do get the nice 10.25-inch instrument cluster as well as a navigation screen. So I just like how all this is laid out, especially having everything digital here for this price point. And the higher you get in the RPMs, this does tend to start pulling pretty well, so that's impressive. So it definitely has pretty good passing power, again, for a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. But we're gonna try and give it a little pull here. Again, with this IVT, you're not having to worry about sluggish shift points or anything like that. It's just kind of going. So where it quote unquote shifted, that wasn't really a big deal. It just kept accelerating. So that I find that quite impressive. I have the cruise on now. So the lane centering pretty much just is for highway maneuvering. Even on the exit ramp here, this one in particular, Hyundai system doesn't like that, where it has a curve off, but it's just a good standard safety feature to have, I think. Now again, for the money, I think this is a pretty good deal. I shouldn't say there aren't. I mean, you have the Toyota Corolla, you have the Honda Civic, but with this in particular, it's just a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. You're not having a turbocharger on your engine. I mean, it's just I think it's in a class of its own, especially for the price and the standard features that you get here. And I do like that this is it's so simple to drive, it's safe. In today's market, it's pretty affordable. And it's just something where if you want to have a little spirited of a drive, you can do that with the sport mode. But also, if you're going to be traveling for work, doing a lot of commuting, pretty good room in here, and then you're getting 40 miles per gallon on the highway. So my headroom here, several inches there. The width of the seat is just wide enough for my wider stature, and it's relatively comfortable for a manual cloth seat. And of course, you can upgrade a lot of this stuff if you want to, but especially if you're just looking to save money, this SEL trim level, I think, is the way to do it. Getting your navigation system, your blind spot monitors, and then this Serenity white, it looks beautiful. So I think it's a pretty good buy, especially for the price point again. But this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2024 Hyundai Elantra in the SEL trim level.